It is Sunday, November 29th. Hello and good day to you, Minot sports fans. Coming out from the KMSU Broadcasting Studios inside Hartnett Hall on the beautiful campus of Minot State University, this is the Minot Sports Podcast. I am your host each and every episode, Cole Clementich. Welcome to episode number 15 in the second season of the podcast. As always, we are brought to you by KMSU TV and radio, full of the finest young aspiring broadcasters in town, producing all sorts of wonderful content. From the KMSU auction to the weekly campus TV show, as well as live radio DJs, we have it all right here for you guys. You can find the Minot Sports Podcast and the KMSU brand on all kinds of social media platforms, with content spreading from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving break. We're still digging into all of the turkey and ham and other leftovers, that's for sure. But anyways, we got a great show on the way for you guys today, and another student athlete to highlight. She hails from the wonderful confines and Magic City campus of Minot High School, one of the few seniors on the Majettes Golf team, and also claiming the title of West Region Senior Athlete of the Year for girls golf this season. She also takes up many other hobbies currently, like the orchestra, in her days at Minot High. Joining us in the studio is Bella Dobrinski. And Bella, thank you for joining the show today. First of all, how was Thanksgiving for you and your family?
Thanksgiving was good. Thanks for having me, Cole. It's obviously different because we are in the middle of COVID, so we did more Zoom calls and kind of virtual things. But overall, it was pretty good. How was yours?
Oh, it was awesome. It actually went quite better than what I had expected. Our family got hit hard with COVID cases, and we really couldn't travel anywhere, so we all had to stay at home to eat, and thank goodness throughout the night I actually got to say hi to my Minnesota family over through Zoom, so that was pretty cool to see. But and even with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up to provide some sliver of hope, what's life like for you at this time now that golf season is done, and how have you navigated the challenges that COVID has brought to the world?
I think since we've been dealing with this whole pandemic since last February, I personally have adapted pretty well to it. It's kind of just ritual now to grab my mask when I get out of my car, when I get out of my parents' cars or friends' cars, and I am really lucky to be in a fall sport that got to have our full season, got to have our state, got to have the beginning. Before we started, we got a text from the coach saying that our first tournament was canceled, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be how the whole season is, just getting text after text about the season is canceled. But we were lucky enough to have the first tournament in Dunstable to be the only one canceled during the whole season.
Yeah, and I got to ask, what was your initial reaction to the news that you guys would be getting a season despite all that's going on?
I was super excited. Golf is a sport, especially for girls, that we get to practice all summer going into it, and just getting the text and hearing that the governor is going to let us do it was just so amazing because it is senior year. We did so much during the summer, and we got to kind of put that into the course during this fall.
Yeah, good. Let's get into your golf career. How was golf life for you on a daily basis?
During the summer, I would wake up and I would go to the range or go work on short game, and then I would try to meet up with some of my other golf friends and go play 9 or 18 holes when it was a little bit cooler out in the day, because I personally don't like golfing in the super hot heat. I find it absolutely miserable. So I would try to just play in the morning and then play at night when it wasn't so dreadfully hot.
I bet. And for the listeners who don't know much golf, what would kind of put us in the mind of Majettes golfer here? What would a normal day look like for the Majettes golf team?
Right, so we start practice immediately after school. We either meet on the putting green at Varden Golf Course or at Cirrus Golf Course, and short game is kind of what we always warm up with. We rarely would go to the range before. We always meet on the putting green, always putt, chip, socialize a little bit, talk about our school life. And then once coaches roll in, we kind of get the more serious game going. We either go out and play 9 or 18 holes, or go down to the range and work on what kind of went bad or sour at the last tournament.
You've been kind of touching on this a little bit about the practice. What does a casual high school golf practice look like, and what are some of the things that you guys work on each day?
Right, so it really depends on when the next tournament is. So if we have a tournament the next day, we'll be strictly at the range, getting our swing strong, getting confidence in our abilities just to hit the ball straight, hit the ball far. And then if we have a little bit of wiggle room and a few extra days before the next tournament, we really do try to get out and play on the course and kind of learn like course management. If your ball goes in the water, how many penalty strokes is it? What do you do to rebound after that? And since golf is more of an individual sport, we're really lucky to be able to work with our coaches individually and team-wise. You know, it's not like basketball where, I don't know basketball terms, but if like the team needs to get faster at running or like learn certain plays or drills, golf isn't like that. Golf is individual. You have your own swing, you have your own stroke, and our coaches are really able to work one-on-one with us, but still make it fun and not so isolating.
That was one question that this is something I'm curious on that you kind of touched on a little bit. Because the sport, it's not just a team game that counts team scores, but it also allows the individual golfers a chance to shine on the big stage. When it comes to practice, is there a lot of alone time with the coach for individual golfers on the team, or is it all just as a team effort, a team progression every day, every practice?
Right. So you can't really make a play for golf. You can't devise a certain strategy to get the ball down the court or anything. So when we do work, I would say, mostly work as a team. You know, it's not just one person meeting up with coach at a later date. We all go to the range together, and our coaches will walk down the line of us at the range, and they'll look at our swing personally, see if we're hitting it left, what we should do, right? Similarly, what should we do? And then when we're out actually playing 9 or 18 holes, they walk with us. They try not to coach us too much on the course because we don't want to get in that mindset of, oh my gosh, I always need to like have something to fix while I'm playing, because golf, it's a pretty mental sport. You have to be confident in your game. You have to be confident in yourself. And I think that our coaches, when they come out and walk with us when we're playing, they don't want to give that impression of you need to work on this, you need to work on that. They kind of want to give the impression of you're confident in your game, you walk your walk, you read your putts, this is your game.
Lots of focus and concentration, I assume, and you know, just gotta cancel out some of that background noise, I would guess, and just kind of reflect on some of your career highlights or some of the best memories that you have.
Right. So a funny memory that I have was when I was in 8th grade, and for golf, we take one Suburban and a trailer behind it where we put our clubs and our push carts. Me being a little 8th grader, I forgot my overnight bag in the trailer, so I got the keys from coach. I went out and got my bag, unlocked the thing, got my bag, closed it, but I locked the keys inside of the trailer.
Oh.
And all of our clubs and push carts were in there for the tournament the next day. So luckily we got the keys out of the locked trailer, and everything was fine. But I just remember being so scared and feeling so bad for doing that and just being so brainless. But going back to an actual good coursing this year, I was able to get an eagle, my first ever eagle, on hole 7 at Surus Golf Course. I got a 3 on a par 5. And then my last 4 holes of state, I managed to go birdie, par, birdie, par. And that was a pretty important thing for me, because I did really struggle on my short game this year, which is really unique because usually I'm able to get on the green, 2-putt, walk off. It's what I'm confident with. And this year, senior year, I just wasn't making those 2 putts. And to be able to finish my senior year with birdie, par, specifically because I was getting on the green and because I was making those putts, was really important and really special to me.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good stat line right there.
Yeah.
And talk about that West Region Senior Athlete of the Year award. When did you first hear about it, and what was your initial reaction?
So I was first told the news that I was WDA Senior Athlete right after I was told the news that my team would not be making it to state collectively. And so hearing the news that, you know, my senior year we wouldn't be competing as a team essay, it was really sad and really unfortunate, because I feel like our girls did a really good job this year. They put in their time and stuff, and just to not be able to make it was really sad. And then my coach came over to me, the coach has coached me since 7th grade, and told me the news that I was nominated and won WDA Senior Athlete of the Year. And just hearing those words that all like the work paid off and the good news after the bad news was really special and important to me. I mean, our 2021 girls golfers, we're strong. There's a lot of really good competitors in there, and I was just really honored to be nominated within all those good golfers.
Yeah, we got more of that on the way coming up here, talking about the future of the team. And but yeah, like you said, hard work pays off, and you certainly did it. And whatever you go into for a future job or career, how awesome does it feel to own a title like that, and how much more polished does it make that resume?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. Just despite COVID and everything, I think it was kind of like another silver lining, or just saying that even though there is kind of bad and we didn't make it to stay as a team and there were struggles along the way, that hard work and continuing to put your effort into it, it does pay off.
So what was it like competing in the big stage, like the WDA and the state meets, with a bunch of your peers from around the state and being able to compete with them?
You know, golf is one of those sports where you go out and you play with girls and you really connect with them. You get pairings of 3 or 4 from girls that are not from your local team, and you really become friends with them. I can personally say that I still keep in contact with some of my friends from Century and some of my friends from Fargo, and just because you're playing golf and you're talking and you don't want to just walk out and golf and not say a word to any of the people you're with, that would be boring. So it's really fun, and you do really form strong and actual personal connections with those girls that you get to go out on the course with.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of sort of body contact plays or strategies, like you said, with basketball and football. So, yeah, being able to make more connections, that's really good for you. And I know we stress it on here a lot. We like to make lots of connections around town. But rumor has it that you got into golf from your grandfather. How did that come to be, and what was his impact like?
So originally I started playing golf with him. One day I went out in Wisconsin where they live, and I was just going out because it was a family thing. They told us we were going golfing, and I was like, okay, we're going golfing. So I went, and I loved doing it. I loved being outside. I loved being with my family. I loved kind of like the fun struggles that golf has. After that, I didn't really play much golf for a while, and then I picked it up going into 7th grade year, so the summer before 7th grade year, and I absolutely fell in love with it again. Now looking back, I wish I would have played a little bit more in that gap year where I stopped, but I mean, I go out with my grandpa now. Whenever I see him, we play golf. It's kind of like a little bonding thing that I have personally with him.
Was there kind of a little bit of time in between where you had to kind of get ready, get yourself up to kind of the high school level of play, or was there, what was that like?
Yeah, so golf is a really interesting sport. We have 6 varsity players, and you take the top 4 best scores out of those 6 players, and that's your team score. So 7th grade year, I was playing a lot that summer with my dad and such. We were going to the range, and I decided, okay, I'm going to play golf. It's going to be what it is. It's my first year, and I was actually lucky enough to play at least 3 tournaments on varsity that year, which was super important to me. And then 8th grade year, I didn't play much, and then starting freshman year, I was consistent on the varsity lineup. So it really is a sport where you have to know your game, you have to play well, and you have to earn your spot on the varsity team.
Oh yeah, like you said earlier, hard work, and it's just like all the other sports. Like you said, you got to earn your spot, and yeah, no slouching. But also tell your grandpa. Well, little did your grandpa know that he was helping out raise a future West Region Senior Athlete of the Year there. But we're going to talk about some of your former teammates. You were once teammates with the likes of Becca Cheddar and J.C. Jones, who have started their collegiate careers, respectively at Grand Canyon University and here at MSU. How much have their and other former teammates, maybe in collegiate athletics, how has their veteran presence and leadership in the past helped you to get to where you are today?
I know for sure, like, they are the reasons that I am the captain I was this year. Looking up to them, they're always so kind and willing to really, like, personally help you. It's never, like, really competitive or anything. It was more competitive within yourself because golf is an individual sport. So having them as role models and just having those girls, like, love the game and ask me to come out and I asked them to go out on the course, it's really nice. They love golf, as you can see. Like, Paige Argent plays at Jamestown. Becca and JC both play golf currently. And it's just really nice to be able to have such a good group of girls and honestly friends to share your love of golf with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, they're doing well currently in the start of their collegiate careers, and it just goes to show you the system that Majettes Golf has instilled. There's a lot of success to be had in there. And just your final thoughts on the golf subject here. When you get to see this Majettes Golf team perform from an alumni perspective, how do you think they'll do, and what are some of your expectations for them?
Yeah, so this year I would say we had a relatively younger team, a lot of juniors, sophomores, and even a freshman. that were playing varsity consistently. And it's going to be really fun to be able to watch them start out their season next year, because they do have a little bit of the experience of what it takes to play varsity, you know, like the kind of the mindset and how to prepare for yourself and how to recover after a bad shot and such. And I think they're gonna surprise people. They're very, very, I don't know how to put it, involved in their game, and they want to do better personally, and that's really gonna show on the course next year.
For sure, and we're also looking forward to seeing how they will do next year. But like you said, leadership and just that connection, the growth in there. There's a lot of young talent there. There's a chance for a lot of success. Now, moving over into the classroom, obviously you have your normal classes and subjects surrounding math, science, English, other major general education subjects and requirements of graduation. Let's talk about this orchestra class here. It's lucky for you because you had to deal with me and my terrible violin skills for a couple of years in that class once upon a time. But all jokes aside, how's that going right now? And how's Mr. Tangestal and all them doing?
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. You know, with COVID, it is scary because orchestra, it's a big class, you know, and we're in that smaller room, which is difficult. But I think that we kind of all just took the mindset of we get to play music, we still get to do what we like to do, and we're just going to kind of take the punches, take what it gives us. We're currently all sitting single file, all facing a wall, social distance. You have your own stand. You're not sharing music. This is going to sound bad, but I haven't flipped my own music in so long, and I played it to the end of one song, and I realized that I had to flip the page because you just simple things like that you have to adjust to, and it's interesting to say the least, but we really are fortunate to be able to continue playing because it's a big class and you can't really social distance, but we make it work.
Yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that because now you're without stand partners, and usually there's one side of the stand, there's usually two people per stand. Usually one of them has to turn the page, and with that eliminated, it's a big challenge now. And that's a good point you bring up there. But what are you guys working on in the class at this time? Will there be any concerts and are preparations underway for the WDA contests at all?
You know, we haven't been able to have a concert at all. I know we reserved the theater in December for potentially a concert, depending on COVID levels and where everyone's at. We don't know if it'll for sure happen, but we're hoping and praying it will. And then with WDA and state, we are working on some chamber music in the hopes that we will get to play and perform there. Because you know how fun it is, Cole. You've been there. It's fun. And even with All-State, usually have a live audition to make the All-State team like you would for like All-State football and such. But now we're just sending in an audio recording. So it's different, but we are still doing what we can and taking all the good that we can and just putting it out there.
That's got to be interesting to make audio from home. What's that process like?
So I've actually done a few college auditions, but they've been video ones, and you would think that you would need to like personally see the person playing to make sure it's them, but we're just sending in a video or an audio recording, and I think I'll probably just use like voice memos or something and record me playing my little scale on the Xer and hope that it sounds good and it goes through.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta. COVID has brought a lot of challenges, so sometimes you just gotta work around it and find ways to overcome that. But as for you, you're one of the very few student athletes that can say they also take part in music. How is it being able to stay busy in many different activities?
You know, I personally love it. I like not being confined to like a particular one subject and kind of bounce around between academics, athletics, and the arts. It's nice. It's fun. You get to meet a lot of different people, which I personally love, and a lot of different like mindsets. So like the arts people are a little bit more creative minded, athletics a little bit more like individually competitively minded, and it's really nice just to bounce between all those groups. I enjoy it.
And not just golf and music, but also what are some clubs that you claim a spot of membership in at this time to keep you even more busy?
Right, so I'm currently the president of Health Occupation Students of America. I'm vice president of Spanish Club, secretary of Honor Society. I'm on the leadership board for Renaissance, and then I also am an active member in student council, and I'm a student guide for Magic City.
Really busy schedule, huh? Yeah, that's a lot to make happen there, but you make it look easy. And we got a very important subject right here. For mental health, it's a very key subject, but yet it can be sensitive or rather hard to talk about for some, but you recently began a project on mental health awareness for the school. Talk about that project and how it's been going for you and others lately, and what are some of the important facts that the listeners should know about it?
Right. So I originally made this kind of idea to raise awareness around mental health last February before COVID happened. As you can tell, the pandemic came, and in-person school was canceled, so we weren't able to carry out our week. But then this year, the host of students really made it a key point to make sure that we got Mental Health Week in there despite the pandemic and everything, because people do have mental health issues. Some days you have good days, some days you have bad days, and that's completely healthy and completely normal. And I know just speaking with my friends who do athletics, who do the arts, it can be hard. They're challenging things to do. You have a lot of pressure to do a certain way, to always win, to play the notes correctly. And we really made it a key thing to say, hey, if you're struggling, if you're having a little bit more bad days than typical, if you're not feeling the best, if you're more anxious, if you're kind of low, you can reach out to someone, whether that be your basketball coach, your conductor, a friend, a teacher that you really like. It's okay to do that. I know it may be vulnerable and scary, but it really is okay, because everyone just wants you to personally succeed and to fight any demons you have in your head.
By the time you're done at Minot High, obviously the goal is to, bring awareness and get all the students, bought into this idea that there is help out there. By the time you're done at Minot High, what is the overall goal? What do you hope to accomplish with this whole project before you leave?
Right. So I think the main thing that myself and the HOSA Club really want to do is get the message not only into the school but into the community, because teenage years can be hard. They can be stressful. You can sometimes have friends, sometimes you don't have friends. It's very up and down. And we thought that even though it is a major thing in the school, because it is a HOSA-run club, a school-run club, we wanted to get the message into the community. And we actually are selling stickers. There's 5 different designs at Prairie Sky Breads, a local small Minot-based business. So if you guys want to go support that, they're at Prairie Sky Breads, and the proceeds will go to a mental health organization of our choosing.
And there you have it. Just go hit up Prairie Sky Breads. Bella can hook you up there with some nice stickers. Also supporting a local business here in town. That's always a good deal there. And Bella doing lots of great work. You mentioned HOSA was a partner. Who else is involved besides them and Prairie Sky Breads, or is it just the two of them?
So those two are the main ones. Obviously, we have advisors, and then we did do a clothing run, and that was in alliance with All-American Trophies. So Denise and All-American Trophies kind of got our message physically into the community by designing T-shirts and sweatshirts for us.
So yeah, lots of great work, Bella, and definitely trying to bring up, again, the awareness, being able to make sure students have a word and that they need help, and certainly doing great work there.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your post-Minot High days and moving towards the future. What do you hope to accomplish overall the rest of the way in your final year at Minot High, whether it be academically? I know you just got done with athletics, but just kind of what's an overall goal that you have for your final year?
So with my final year, I just want to be able to stay in school to finish out senior year with my friends, physically seeing them, and also just to kind of stay motivated and positive despite these trying times. With it being our last year of high school, obviously keep the grades up, stay close to friends, reach out to people if they need it, but just kind of make an impact and not be so down about how horrible the world can be and what's going on right now. Just trying to stay positive and motivated and looking into the future.
Yeah, got to find as many positives as you can. And what are some potential career aspirations that you have? Maybe some plans for college or work, etc. What are you thinking possibly?
So I do want to go to college, and I want to study science, specifically neuroscience, and then hopefully go on to medical school after that.
Sounds like some great plans there, and not a bad field to get into. There's a lot of good jobs out there, certainly, that'll pay well, and yeah, I wish you the best of luck in your future there. And
Thank you, Cole.
Got a little bit of football kind of schedule attendance COVID issues for Minot High's final football home game. Obviously, the students announced that students could no longer go to it. First of all, were you there at the fence by the end for that final game?
No, unfortunately, I was not at the fence. I had another commitment to be at. But I can say that, I don't know if you saw, but there were posters of every single senior's name and number in the stands where the student section was supposed to be. And myself and Alexis Hyder made every single one of those posters to put up in the student section. There were, I think, like 15 seniors this year. It took us like 8 hours to make every single one of them. So it's not at the fence, but I did my work and I tried to make the student section look a little bit cuter and a little bit more fun for the boys to look up at.
Yeah, you put in a lot of work there, you two, and I was not expecting that actually. So yeah, they looked amazing, and but as you said, you weren't there for it, but there were a bunch of the other students that were there at the fence. What did you think of that? Like, what's the mindset? How good is it to be able to come up with creative ways to kind of get over this COVID attendance restrictions?
Yeah, I think it was super smart of them to do that. You know, we actually were talking about the fence since like the first game, saying if you didn't get a voucher from a player, you can go to the fence, like other people will be there, and ultimately we did have the plan to go to the fence if we were kicked out, which we were for the last game. So just being able to like go on Snapchat and go on Instagram and see that my friends were there and they actually got to like carry through that plan despite everything. You know, we're a really determined class. We're not going to let COVID stop us. We're going to do it in safe manners, and if we're not allowed in the game, we're going to find a way to still be there for the game, whether that be outside the fence with our masks on and blankets.
Oh yeah, and it's cold out there, so good preparation on your guys' part and a lot of perseverance and just not giving up. That's some great stuff. But yeah, Bella, top-notch golfer and cellist inside the Minot High borders, and they're very lucky to have her there at this time. And Bella, we can't thank you enough for joining the podcast today.
Thank you, Cole. Yeah. It was really fun to be here.
We wish you the best of luck in your craft throughout the rest of the school year. And yeah, just hope all goes well for you.
Thank you, Cole.
You just heard Bella Dobrinski, senior at Minot High School and member of the Majettes Golf team, as well as Minot High Orchestra. She's doing a lot of great work up there, and we thank her again for being on the show today. That's going to do it for episode 15 of Season 2 on the Minot Sports Podcast. As always, we want to give a big thanks to our sponsors from KMSU TV and Radio for their support and contributions to the podcast, allowing us to use these wonderful studios for each and every episode. Give KMSU and the Minot Sports Podcast some follows on social media. You can find them all on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. With all that said, Minot Sports fans, big thanks again to Bella Dobrinski. You guys stay safe and healthy out there and have a good rest of your day.